Okay, today we're working on some hip mobility. So you're gonna start seated on the floor with your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, and you're gonna sit up nice and tall and drop your knees to one side. So you end up in what's called this shin box position, where one knee is bent in front of you and one knee is bent out to the side. So then you're gonna slowly switch from side to side, trying to keep your posture as upright as possible. If you need to put your fingertips on the ground behind you at first, then please do so, but the goal is to do it seated as upright as possible for that hip mobility. You might find that you scoot yourself across the ground, so just adjust as needed. A little progression of that after we go side to side is we're gonna lean over the front leg and then lift the back foot. Lean over the front leg, lift the back foot. So we're just working through all the nooks and crannies of those hip joints, working on stretching out the joint capsule and activating some of those deep rotator muscles in your hips. So rock back and forth and then switch sides, get that other knee bent in front of you, hinge from your hip, lean your chest over, and then lift that foot if you can. Even if you can't create any distance between your foot and the ground, even just thinking about lifting it can activate the right muscles. So just work with where you're at. Try not to round your back when you're doing this. Keep that posture nice and straight. Hinge from the hip. Now we're gonna take that and go into a shin box hip extension. So you're gonna drop to one side, lean over that front leg, and then get your butt up off the ground. Switch sides, lean over that front leg, squeeze those glutes, and get your butt off the ground. Do that a few times on each side. And if you're not quite ready for this yet, or you need to hold on to something to help, then just work with where you're at again. The strength and control here will come the more that you work on it. A few times on each side. Once you feel that you've made a little bit of progress and you can do that shin box switch without your hands on the ground behind you, we want to grab a weight, start small and work your way up, and do this mobility move with loaded resistance, because that's only going to help us work through the end ranges of motion and help bring strength to all of those little stabilizer muscles in your hip. Now we're gonna grab a PVC and do some side lunges or Cossack squats. Use that PVC to help support you and help you up out of that position if you need to. You're bending towards one knee, letting that opposite toe lift up off the ground, trying to keep that leg straight. Really great stretch for the groin. And again, just working through all the nooks and crannies of that range of motion with your adductors, your inner thigh muscles. If you feel like you're able to do that without too much trouble, then you want to try doing a few reps, loading that movement up with external weight, again, like we did before. Extra challenge, try to keep yourself low as you switch legs. It's just really going to fire up some muscles that we don't use often. Now we're going to take the PVC for support again, and we're going to go in the frontward direction in the sagittal plane. So we're lunging in a nice, long, deep lunge, trying to keep that leg behind you as elongated and straight as you can, and really driving that knee over your toes. Trying to get as deep as you can into that knee flexion position. Use that PVC to help you up as needed, but your goal is to go through as big of a range of motion as possible within reason. If anything hurts or it's causing pain in any joints, then just, go within your tolerable range. And again, we're going to grab that weight and load this up as soon as you feel you can do it comfortably in the full range of motion with just your body weight. Don't load external resistance on any mobility moves until you feel you can do them through their full range of motion with just your body weight. A few times on each side. You're going for quality of movement and full range of motion, not necessarily trying to build a ton of muscle or create a ton of burn with these moves. Okay, last but not least, one of my favorite drills for riders and racers, we're gonna do a PVC hip hinge drill. We have 3 points of contact with the PVC on your back, the back of your head, in between your shoulder blades and your tailbone. That PVC does not leave your back. You're gonna get your feet about hip width apart, slight bend in the hips and knees, and then you're hinging, bending from the hips, not your back. Reaching that tailbone behind you, loading up tension in your hamstrings and in your glutes, keeping that back nice and straight and your core braced. So essentially we're hinging forward into our attack position. What you don't want is to lose contact with your tailbone. That means you're bending from your back and not your hips. So 3 solid points of contact. And again, only work within your range of motion. If you can't hinge down as far as I can in this video, please know that I've been working on this for a very long time. Once you can get the hang of that movement with the PVC on your back, then take it off of those 3 points of contact, put it on your back in a back rack position like you have a barbell back there, and then practice doing that movement going all the way till you feel the end of your hamstring length. And you're gonna get farther every time.